Welcome to our latest exhibition, Made for Travel. Let's go in and have a look around and we'll talk to you about a few of the pieces in it. So like most of our exhibitions, we produce a catalogue. There's 100 items in the catalogue this time. And as you can see, it's all fully illustrated. Many items have got more than one image. And that gives you a very quick taster of what's in the exhibition. But of course, it's much better to see it in the flesh. So let's have a bit of a walk around and pick out a few things to talk about. Well, this is a very interesting bit of Georgian campaign furniture. As you can see, from the brass caps to the top, the legs are all removable, and then we've got a very box like shape, which is very easy to pack for travel. And in fact, in many ways, it looks like a three-fold campaign bookcase. There's a double-fold campaign bookcase up there. So let's open it up and you can see what it is. Well, of course, it is a campaign desk. You've got a little desk tidy area to the bottom here, drawers to the side, but at the back you've got a double use. It's also a washstand and it's fitted to take bowls and jug, etc. So you can write your orders on one side, you can get yourself ready for parade on the other. Now we've got one pair and a single of balloon back chairs in the catalogue this time in the exhibition, but this is the pair and they are a really solid pair of campaign chairs. I mean, there's a really good weight to them. So nice, thick, chunky wood used for the balloon backs to make them even stronger. Good turnings to the front legs. And of course, they completely dismantle in much the way that a Ross balloon back would do so. Very good chest by Edward Johnson down here. We've already done a video on that, well worth looking at, a maker with an interesting history. Another good bit of Georgian campaign furniture, and it's definitely a campaign piece rather than a bachelor washstand because the legs are made to be removable. Two top flaps open and you've got your area for your wash bowl. Drawers fitted to take your razors, etc., and also a mirror in there. Good bit of Georgian campaign furniture. Here we've got what Sheraton described as a chair bed. Underneath a cushion you've got a frame which folds out to give you a foot rest. And of course the back and the arms are made to be removable, so it all packs down nice and neatly. A Chinese export trunk, perfect size of course to go at the end of a bed or in front of a sofa. What's nice about this one is it's a red leather one. We see them now and again, but really not as often as we would like. The dark green and black ones tend to be far more common. Leather on camphor, so you've got that lovely rich smell to the inside, which will also help protect any woolly jumpers you've got. Major de Perrier, we've spoken about him on another video, a soldier with a very interesting history. If you haven't seen it, well worth looking at. Very good writing slope, Georgian writing slope by Games, William and Elizabeth Games. Interesting makers from St Paul's Churchyard. Worth looking at their biography on our website. And this is probably a maritime desk made by Albert Barker, but actually for modern living, what a great space saver. You can open it out, sit down and work on your laptop. When you need the space, you finished work, you can just close the top like that, put it away. Hardly takes any space at all. But look at the quality to these columns here. Really nicely done. An Anglo-Indian portable sofa. So we've got double caning to the back and sides. the back and the sides are bolted to the base. They come off when the bolts are undone, and the sides are hinged to the back to fold in to further reduce it in size for travel. Now, this is a table that we're definitely going to have to do a separate video on. This is a really good Georgian campaign table. Packs down very neatly, very elegant leg, and interesting mechanism for making it nice and secure once it's set up. So yeah, we'll have to do a separate video on that one, I think. Oops. This is a very interesting and unusual campaign chest. The proportions are much like a Wellington chest, and possibly it was bespoke made, perhaps for use on board ship. Certainly the gallery to the top suggests shipboard use. You've got a secretaire drawer, 2 drawers above, and the bottom 2 drawers are not actually drawers, they're faux. It's a cupboard. So that's a very unusual campaign chest. Another interesting campaign chest, walnut. Everyone loves a walnut campaign chest. Very good looking. This one is a little bit more unusual in that originally it was part of a sideboard chest, so it would have a packing case which would bolt onto either side. We have had one walnut one before, funnily enough, in the last exhibition. What's different about this one, it's lost its packing cases, but the sides are painted rather than straight grain walnut like the top. Not something we've seen before. Quite interesting. Lots of interesting lighting going on here. We've got some Sorrento ware Brighton buns, a pair by Tonks, an interesting paper lantern. These are quite rare, as you can imagine. This is a lovely, sweet little candlestick, one of my favourite items in the exhibition. Made for travel rather than constructional. That breaks down very neatly and will pack away into a writing slope or wherever. But really good heavy base, that's not going to tip over. It's a lovely little piece. Now these watercolors, all by the same amateur hand, are quite interesting, and they illustrate life for Europeans in India in the 1870s, 1880s in India. And we've got pig sticking up here. Others also show pig sticking. We've got a line of march here, showing all of the different wagons carrying all of the belongings. You've got chairs on the top here. You've got elephants carrying. You've got some Europeans down here in a wagon right at the end. There's even one of the wagons, I can't spot it just yet, but it says beer on it, which was obviously essential if you're out in India and you wanted to cool down a little bit. A few more of them here. Another very interesting campaign chest. Good early campaign chest, around about 1825, with boards that pack on. Again, we've done a separate video for this. Well worth looking at, I would suggest. A library table in walnut by Ross & Co. A great piece, nice size, completely packs down, of course. You've got Ross's enamel label there, but you've also got a stencil on the other drawer. And as you would imagine, the legs unscrew to pack it down. A ship's cabinet, which would mount on a wall. And it also makes quite a useful little shelf. So this opens down, nice and neat. You can extend this shelf area to rest things on if you want. And you've also got cupboards to the side there that pop open quite neatly, really nicely made. And a little secret compartment, Quite obvious it's there, but not so obvious how you open it. Another table by Ross, this time a card table. The top swivels, opens up, you've got a base surface, but the column and the four legs all dismantle. And sat on the top of this Ross table, we've got two coloured photographs by Lafayette of the Wood brothers, two young soldiers of the turn of 1900. And Richard Wood, very, very good horseman, and in fact he won the military cup in 1905, I think, riding the horse of his very good friend Lawrence Oates, who of course was famous for going to the Antarctic with Scott, leaving the tent and saying, "I might be some time." So a couple of interesting pictures of soldiers. Now this is a great chair. Apart from being really comfortable, completely dismantles. We've done a video on this already, I think, well worth looking at. Big bolts at the back to undo it all, and very interesting chair, really sturdy made. I mean, just look at the strength of those arms, nice and solid. Good piece of campaign furniture. These are two unusual pieces of campaign furniture. This is a boot and whip rack. You see quite a few domestic ones of these. You hang your boots upside down and you hang your whips in there. But this one, made to completely dismantle. You can see the chains here. Pull the pegs out so that the horizontals can all be removed. And then the uprights are also hinged, so they'll fold down to further pack down. A hanging rail, so you can hang your uniforms, but of course you could also hang coat hangers now with your clothing. Completely made to dismantle. These bolts here will again remove the uprights, so it'll all pack down nice and neatly. Another campaign chest. This one stands out for its handles. You don't have a bail, you simply have a scoop. Put your fingers in, pull it out. We haven't seen that handle before, so that's really quite interesting. Little occasional table, all of the parts unscrew, dismantles nice and easily. Some biscuit and toffee tins, but made to imitate items such as a writing slope, of his Agapatan box, crocodile suitcase, all items that in the early 1900s would have shown that you are someone of culture and taste to have the real items in your house. And here's a prop of his Agapatan box that the one tin was imitating, and it sat on an exceptional piece of campaign furniture, a whatnot, made to completely dismantle. You can see the bolts on the side, so undo those, you'll end up with two sides that almost look like ladders, and then the shelves and the cross members to support the shelves will also separate and come apart. But looks, apart from the bolts, just like its domestic equivalent. A naval chair with a padded seat. Folds up nice and neatly. Lovely chair. But have a look at this. It's some time the back has broken, and we've got a wonderful old repair there where they put a strip of metal across there, and also to the back. Lovely nice bit of old restoration work, and it's up against a naval table, a Georgian late 18th century naval table, and it folds in much the same way as the chair. The two halves of the top open out to rest against this side of the legs, and then the apron here will concertina in so it will completely fold. It's also got two little supports on either side at this end, which you can just twist up and it will hold this half of the top at a slight angle, so you've got a working surface. And of course, on a naval table, you've got to have some naval decanters. A lovely sweet pair of small Rodney decanters. You can see the size of a normal standard one to get an idea of what a sweet size this pair are. And we've got a number of items on this table to do with eating. You've got portable cutlery, folding 18th century fork, barrel corkscrew by Drew, peg and worm corkscrew. Interesting cigar cases. This one by Davis of Quadrant off or on Regent Street, and you can see it's got its little envelope to take Vestas. Most of them didn't have that. We're very lucky to have two at the same time. So those are very interesting pieces. Another little patent table, what we call a briefcase table, opens out very neatly, folds down just as neatly. This is a much earlier version. We think it's more of a prototype version, but quite interesting. The practicality of campaign furniture, of course, lives on. You do see some mid-20th century furniture described as campaign, but it's actually only campaign style. It's got the look but not the functionality. This wonderfully designed table has got both the look and the functionality. Completely folds up, the legs into sticks, the top concertina's closed, so that will flat pack into sticks, and a good bit of mid-20th century campaign furniture. Folding table by Luscombe, Anglo-Indian table, very interesting. And finally, a nice sweet chest, sweet in its size, very interesting for its history, by Maynard, and it belonged to a chap called Robert Saul. He wasn't in the military, but he was a merchant and he was working in Shanghai, in Canton. He died out there. His wife came back. His wife's details are written between the two halves of the chest and with her forwarding addresses. But a very interesting campaign chest by a good maker in Maynard. So that's a quick rundown of our exhibition. Go onto our website. You'll see lots of photographs of all of the items and long descriptions. And of course, we're here if you've got any questions on the pieces. And over the next few weeks, we'll also be adding more videos of individual pieces showing how they dismantle and pack down.